The last text from Dad. The message came at 2:43 a.m. Ryan didn't hear it. His phone was on silent, lying face down beside his bed in his small apartment in Houston. Outside, the city hummed softly under a blanket of rain. Neon lights flickered against wet streets. Thunder rolled somewhere far away. Ryan was asleep, exhausted after a long shift and an even longer argument. The last time he had spoken to his father, it hadn't ended well. "You never listen," his dad had said. "And you never understand," Ryan had replied. They both hung up angry. Now the phone screen glowed faintly in the darkness. "Dad, son, I know it's late. I just needed to tell you something important. Please call me when you see this." 2:43 a.m. At 7:15 a.m., Ryan's alarm rang. Half awake, he reached for his phone and blinked at the notification. When he saw his father's name, his chest tightened. He opened the message. He read it once, then twice. A strange feeling crept into his stomach. His father never texted like that. He usually called, short, direct, practical, not emotional. He noticed something else. A second notification. Missed call, 2:47 a.m. His breathing slowed. He immediately pressed call. It rang and rang. No answer. He tried again. Still nothing. Just as he was about to dial a third time, his phone vibrated. It wasn't his dad. It was his uncle. Ryan answered quickly. "Hey, is Dad with you? He texted me last night." There was silence on the other end, then a shaky breath. "Ryan, your father was taken to the hospital around 3 in the morning." The words felt distant. What? Why? It was his heart. Ryan stood up too fast, the room spinning slightly. "Is he okay?" he demanded. Another pause. "I'm sorry." The world stopped. "No," Ryan whispered. "No, that's not possible. He texted me." "He sent that message from the ambulance," his uncle said quietly. "He kept saying he needed to tell you something." Ryan's hand began to shake. The rain outside suddenly felt louder, the apartment colder. He grabbed his keys and rushed out without changing, without thinking. The drive to the hospital felt unreal, like a dream he couldn't wake up from. When he arrived, the corridors were quiet, too quiet. A nurse guided him to a small room, white walls, one chair, a box of tissues on the table. He already knew. His father was gone. The funeral passed in a blur of black clothes and whispered condolences. People kept telling Ryan how strong he was. He didn't feel strong. He felt hollow. That night, back in his apartment, he sat alone in the dark. His father's last text glowed on the screen again. "I just needed to tell you something important." What was it? Why didn't he just say it? He scrolled up through their old messages. Most were simple. "Did you eat? Call me when free. Proud of you." He stopped at a voice message from 3 weeks ago, the night of their argument. He hesitated before pressing play. His father's voice filled the quiet room. "Ryan, I know you're upset. I don't always say things the right way, but everything I push you for, it's because I don't want you to struggle like I did." Ryan closed his eyes. The guilt felt unbearable. If he had answered that night, if he had called back sooner, maybe. His phone buzzed suddenly. A new notification. Unknown number. His heart jumped. For a split second, a ridiculous hope flashed through him. He opened it. It was a text. "You don't know the full truth." Ryan frowned. Another message followed. "Your father's death wasn't just a heart attack." His blood ran cold. He typed back immediately. "Who is this?" No response. Seconds passed, then another text. Check his study, the locked drawer. Ryan stared at the screen. His father lived alone in a small house on the outskirts of the city, a quiet place filled with old books and paperwork. Locked drawer? Ryan's mind raced. Was this some sick joke? But something deep inside him felt uneasy. His father had sounded urgent in that last message. I needed to tell you something important. Ryan grabbed his jacket. He needed answers. His father's house felt different without him. Too still, too empty. Ryan walked into the study. The smell of old wood and paper lingered in the air. The desk stood near the window. There it was, a small drawer with a brass lock. Ryan searched around until he found a tiny key taped under the desk, exactly where his father used to hide spare keys when Ryan was a child. His hands trembled as he unlocked it. Inside was a thick envelope. On it were 3 words written in his father's handwriting, "For Ryan only." Ryan swallowed hard. He opened it. Inside were documents, bank statements, property papers, and a letter. He unfolded it slowly. "Son, if you're reading this, it means I didn't get the chance to explain everything. I didn't want to worry you. The company I used to work for has been under investigation. I discovered some illegal financial activity. I was going to report it. I thought I had time. But recently I started receiving threats. That's why I've been acting distant. I didn't want you involved. If anything happens to me, take these documents to the authorities. And please remember, none of our arguments ever changed how much I'm proud of you. I love you more than I ever said. Dad." Ryan's vision blurred. Threats? Illegal activity? This wasn't just a heart attack. His phone buzzed again. Unknown number. "Now you know." Ryan typed back, "Who is this?" 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. "Stop digging, or you'll end up like him." A chill ran down his spine. This wasn't random. This was real. Ryan looked back at the documents. His father had been brave and alone, and Ryan had been too angry to see it. For a moment, fear wrapped around him tightly. He could ignore this. He could pretend it was just a coincidence. He could walk away. But then he looked at the last line of the letter again. "I love you more than I ever said." Ryan wiped his tears. "No," he whispered to the empty room. "You don't threaten my father and walk away." He gathered the documents carefully and placed them in his backpack. As he stepped outside, thunder cracked across the sky again, just like the night the text was sent. His phone buzzed once more. Unknown number. Last warning. Ryan stared at the message. Then he did something he should have done days ago. He opened his father's last text again. "I just needed to tell you something important." Now he understood. It wasn't just about love. It was about truth. He blocked the number. Then he drove straight to the police station. Weeks later, the investigation made headlines. The company was exposed. Several executives were arrested. The threats stopped. The unknown number disappeared. And though the official report still listed his father's death as a heart attack, Ryan knew something else had been at play. Stress, fear, pressure no one should carry alone. One evening, Ryan sat by the same window in his apartment. The rain fell softly again. He opened his messages. The last text from Dad still sat there, untouched, unanswered, but no longer unfinished. Ryan whispered into the quiet room, "I'm proud of you too, Dad." For the first time since that night, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt like a promise. And this time, he wouldn't ignore it.